Hey everyone, welcome back to another DCS UH1 tutorial with Ronan. This tutorial we're going to cover the CSAR elements of CTLD. In a previous video I covered CTLD in the broad strokes, and this time we're going to cover how to rescue downed pilots. Now I've got a downed pilot up ahead pretty far to my northeast, and we're just kind of cruising along right here. So I'm going to show you how to get the information needed to find the pilot before we actually do the actual endpoint navigation. So we're going to bring up our radio menu with Alt F10, or sorry, Alt backslash, and go into the F10 menu, and we're going to look at CSAR. So we have list active, check on board, request signal flare, and request smoke. We'll do these last two later. Now the signal flare doesn't really work very well in the daytime. It's more for night rescues. So first we're going to list active CSAR. As you can see, we have quite a few down pilots, but this first one's the one we're going to focus on, Lemon. He's in a UH1 that went down, and here's the main thing. 660.0 kilohertz on the ADF, and he's 30 kilometers away. So 660 kilohertz on our ADF. We're going to look down here at the ADF radio, which I covered in a previous tutorial, and we're going to switch to the second battery of frequencies and scroll till we get to 660. And unfortunately, the server's restarting in 30 minutes, so hopefully I can rescue this guy in 30 minutes before server reset. Now, in the previous video where I covered the ADF, it can be pretty tedious. Like I said, it's a lot of scrolling. But we're approaching 660. There's 650. And turn on our ADF, turn the gain down, so it's not all static in your ears. And there's 660. You'll notice that our ADF compass needle is pointing, although it looks like it's pointing in the wrong direction. We might not have the right frequency here. No. So keep scrolling, and that might be 660. Let's see what the arrow does here. If it were a digital readout display on the radio, it would be a lot easier to get a more exact location for our frequency. Yep, that looks like it. We're heading towards him. So this arrow will point at the ADF frequency signal, and you can fly towards him. We'll check the F10 map. And as you can see, I'm the white helicopter here, heading in this direction, and there is our downed pilot right here. And we can just draw a line. So 12 nautical miles at 49 degrees heading. If we jump back in the helicopter, you can see that we're kind of right about there. Close enough for now until we get closer. And once we get closer, then there's some other options that become available that we can use to help rescue the pilot. All right, and we're back in our Huey here on a CSAR mission, which is Combat Search and Rescue. And we're nearing our downed pilot, which I figured out we have two of them. So it's 2 for 1 today. So if we go back, list active CSAR, you'll see the top two are 4.1 and 4.2 clicks away. So we're definitely within range. We'd reactivate the F10 menu, go back to CSAR, and request smoke. And they're popping smoke at my 12 o'clock. And as you can see, there's now blue smoke coming from that strip of land right in front of me. So I'm just going to point my helicopter in that direction and begin my descent. Now I'm going about 105 knots, so we're going to slow it down for our approach. You want to make sure that you pick a good landing area, but you don't have to land super close, like right next to them to pick them up. And they'll talk to you. They say, you're close now. Or they'll say, damn, I can hear you, that thing is loud. And that's just part of the scripting. So if we bring it to a hover right over top of them. Now there's two ways to pick them up. You can hover directly over the down pilots and winch them up, which my preferred method is not that. It's to actually land and pick them up. So we're going to overshoot the landing a little bit and do kind of like a J turn, where we basically come in and land backwards to them, to where we came in on approach. And when you come in for a landing, you want to kind of orientate yourself to where you can have a good takeoff as well. So I'm going to rotate around a little bit, circling the target. So continue our descent, not too fast. And I want to take off to the north because that's where I'm taking these guys. And you see there's two guys sitting on the ground here, waiting for me to come in and pick them up and give them a ride home. We got some uneven terrain to deal with. Another tip about landing is make sure that the terrain you're landing on is flat and even. Landing on a hill or an incline can be pretty tough. And nice and easy landing. And there, it says 19 seconds. It'll tell you, so we got one, picked up one guy, and it'll tell you how far away they are, how many seconds. So we got Lemon and Paradox picked up. We're good to go. Now, once you've picked them up and you take off, you can start flying to go take them to where you need to go. But where do you take them? Well, there are two places you can take down pilots for CSAR operations. Let me get airborne and turn off my ADF so that there's no static. So there's two places you can take your guys. One is to a FARP or FOB, and the other is to a friendly airfield, which is where I'm heading right now, to a friendly airfield. And if we check our F10 map, we'll see friendly airfields right here. You can always click on the airfield icon and see if it's blue. So we head to the friendly airfield if we don't get too far off course from stepping away from the controls for a moment. And we've got our guys on board, so we can check our F10 menu again under CSAR and check on board. And we have a guy I picked up myself earlier, and then we have Paradox and Lemon. All three are downed pilots. And pretty much landing at the airfield will end our rescue. And I see the airfield in sight. It looks like there is a FARP already set up on the airfield, so I can show you either the FARP landing or landing at the actual airfield itself, which we're going to land at the airfield just because it's easier. And I don't want to interfere with any existing air traffic that may be coming or going from the FARP. So to explain for those that don't know, a FARP is that big green thing with the 4 helipads on it. And FARP stands for Forward Arming and Refueling Position. So as we come in on the airfield, we're not really worried about airplanes taking off because there aren't any right now. See that there's a helicopter there in position to take off. Its engines are running. getting a little lag. Let's see if I can avoid crashing due to the frame rate drop. Okay, so I'm going to put it down on the apron. I'm not positive, but I think anywhere in the airfield proper is safe bet for dropping off down pilots and rescued guys. So we set her down nice and easy here on the tarmac, and the pilots have been taken to the medical clinic. Good job. And our CSAR mission is complete. And that's the broad strokes of how to do combat search and rescue with the CTLD F10 radio menu. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you flying out there another time.